So today we're learning how to make turns, learning how to do a pre-trip inspection, learning how to properly and safely operate this bus.
You gotta be watching your mirrors left and right and not driving over the cones for sure.
If you are a brand new bus driver, like you've just been hired and you're about to start training, or possibly you're interested in becoming a bus driver, specifically a public transit bus operator or a city bus driver.
You can't change this?
No, sir, we're not allowed to change.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Why can't you change this?
A card. Every time I get on this stupid bus, you want to see a card or you want 10 cents.
Look, don't turn me down, lady. Come on.
All
Give me
right.
a... Hey,
This is a stressful job!
Or even if you're just interested in what happens during training, this video is for you. So what will training be like? Let's get straight to the point. Well, first of all, it varies depending on where you're at. Now, I'm talking specifically the United States right now. Each transit system has their own little way of doing certain things. However, there are federal Department of Transportation laws in place. So there's certain things that are going to be the same. Now, there's two things that are going to more than likely happen wherever you train at as a public transit bus operator, and that's classroom and behind the wheel. So you're not just going to show up and like, okay, let's just drive the bus around the block. All right, you're good to start tomorrow. No, it's not going to happen like that. Actually, I hope it's not like that, because if that happens, you can potentially find yourself in a situation like this. Yeah, that's a really bad day for that operator. Whoa. To be fair, no shade to that driver. I hope that driver is okay. This happened a little while ago, but we can all have bad days and make mistakes. It happens.
He ain't lying.
Just to give you an idea of a potential training schedule, here in Sacramento when I trained, and it was like 10 years ago now, I spent 2 weeks doing classroom training, 4 weeks behind the wheel, and another 4 weeks training with different operators, learning routes and actually driving the bus in the real world, but with an operator, a more experienced operator with me. But what are you gonna do in a classroom session? Well, there's gonna be a lot of reading, a lot of books, a lot of handouts, a lot of paperwork. You're gonna watch a ton of videos, and you can't just fall asleep on these videos. You're gonna be tested on these videos. There's gonna be exams because they need you to internalize this information, because this information will be used when you're out on the road. It's gonna be extremely boring. Well, actually, some of you may find it really interesting. I found it interesting. It's just the presentation a lot of times was really boring, and the amount of time that you had to sit in class and watch the videos and read the books and the literature and the handouts and the worksheets, it can be a bit much, but it's necessary. Would you like to see some examples of the types of videos that you may watch?
yes.
Welcome to this special segment on air brakes. The goal of this course is to help you pass the CDL written exam. However, we quickly realize that without a basic understanding of braking systems and how they work, you could easily get bogged down in the details and forget the answers to some of the very specific questions you'll be asked.
Okay, see this guy on the screen right here? If you are someone that's taken any sort of commercial driving course or lesson or training, whether it's bus, school bus, transit bus, Greyhound, even truck driving, you may have seen this guy. He's like the Tom Hanks of the CDL training video circuit. Now, this guy's a celebrity. Like, if I seen him on the streets, I would ask for his autograph, because I've seen so many videos featuring this guy.
He ain't lying.
So here goes another example. This may not be the exact video that they show you, but this is an example of something that you will more than likely see while in training. All right, I'm gonna show you one more example of a video that you might see in training as a bus operator.
As you approach an intersection, your work begins before you get there. You have to be scanning the whole time. You're scanning for bikes, pedestrians, cars, fixed objects such as telephone poles and other obstacles that could get in the way. Remember, you're going to rock and roll. You want to use your mirrors the entire time. Remember that your tires should be placed to the outside edge of the left curb to allow for more room to clear the right side object. By going to the left side, it allows more space for that back right tire to clear the obstacle, because it's going to follow in the pathway of the tires that are in front. Notice here as the bus moves into the turn. The length of this bus, at 40 feet long, cannot clear both the left curb and the right curb at the same time. They're going to have to exercise pivot points.
So during my classroom training portion here in Sacramento, we had our air brake test and our full pre-trip examination, and we had to go over that every single day. We had to read it every single day after class and memorize it. We needed to have that memorized word for word, verbatim, before we can pass and get out of the classroom training portion. Now, the part that everyone would more than likely be excited and nervous about, which is completely normal. You're excited to get in the driver's seat of a bus, but you're also nervous because you're like, what if I mess up? And some people do mess up. You might mess up a little bit. Here's an example of something that you're more than likely going to do during training while driving the bus. There will be various skills tests that you will have to pass, but they will tell you exactly how to turn the wheel, when to turn the wheel, when to look out your mirror, what you should see in your mirror before you turn the wheel in another direction. They're going to spell it out for you. So it's going to be all about paying attention and comprehending what they tell you to do. And don't worry, it's not going to just be a bunch of driving around cones and backing up in between cones. You're actually going to hit actual city streets. You're going to have your instructor or your trainer over your shoulder talking to you the entire time, or most of the time. They're going to be giving you instructions and directions, telling you what you need to be looking out for while you're operating the bus down the street, because we form certain habits when we drive in our personal vehicles, and some of those habits don't work well when you're operating a public transit bus on busy city streets. Here's an example of what that will look like while you're in training, and this is exactly how it was for me. But this isn't me, and as a matter of fact, this is in New York City. This first clip is from New York MTA. Check it out.
Safety's always our priority. Gotta look around, space management, anything that's close to your bus in that 4 feet area is a hazard, okay?
The school crossing ahead.
Anticipate what kind of school zone crossing, very good. Straight ahead.
And if you're new to driving a bus or a large commercial vehicle, period, that's going to be really intense. When you get out of the seat, you're probably going to be mentally just fatigued from all of the information that your instructor is giving you while you're driving. They are not going to leave you alone, and they shouldn't, because they're training you and they're teaching you what you need to know and what you need to look out for. Even if you're an experienced commercial driver, sometimes we develop bad habits over the years. So it's good for them to remind you of certain things that you may not have been doing as a commercial driver. We all fall into that trap, all of us. Now remember, I told you that during the classroom portion, you're going to be really focusing on that pre-trip inspection and your air brake test. Well, you're going to do that when you're behind the wheel as well. It's not going to be just all driving. You're going to be going around that bus, working on your pre-trip inspection, and you're going to be working on the air brake tests as well. And you have to recite everything that you do. And it's actually quite challenging to recite the air brake tests while you're doing them. And the same thing with the pre-trip inspection. Everything that you have to check, you have to say it. Here goes some examples of that.
There are no cracks. Moldings are in place, no cracking. Wiper blades both have tension, both have rubber, not frayed or cut. The left side mirror is mounted properly. Casing and mirror and glass both intact. DOT stickers are present. You have your right side mirror, casing intact, mounted properly. Both glasses intact, and there is no debris. You have your rear wheel skirt, it is intact. You have 2 tires in the rear. There is nothing in between them, no debris. They are inflated properly, both to 115 PSI cold. These can be a minimum of 2 30 seconds They can de-recap and regroove. TA does not do it. There is no bubbles, no cuts, no abrasions on the sidewall of the tire. The rims, there is no dents, no cracks, no illegal welds. All your lug nuts are tight and flags facing in the same direction. Your brake vents are clear of debris. Your hub is intact, there is no leaks, there's no rust. All nuts on the hub are intact, no.
The seatbelt. You want to make sure that it's properly mounted and secure, no rips, no tears, and adjust it properly for yourself. Now we're going to do a safe start. Put your foot on the brake, put the coach in day run, start it up. At this time you'll see the ABS light, it'll disappear, and that means that the ABS light is working properly. Now we're going to do the light indicators. The light indicator consists of the left signal, right signal, high beams, and your four ways.
Lights and buzzers should come on your dash. I have my lights. Oh shoot, that wasn't supposed to work. And I have my buzzers. Then between 20 and 40 psi, your emergency brake should pop up. Continue pumping until your emergency brake pops up for pump down number 2. Oh, it worked. Alright. Okay, then you do the air buildup test. You start your coach, put in night run, turn on your fast idle.
Some of you may be asking, why are you using all these clips from all over the place to show us what training is like? Why don't you just show clips from your actual training? Well, my actual training at this particular company was about 10 years ago, and I really don't have any clips from that. But I was able to compile some clips that I found so that I can share them all with you, because those things are the same things that I did in my training, even though those clips are not from Sacramento. So another side note, this is bus driver boot camp. So don't expect your trainers to be your best pal and your best buddy and super friendly. Some of them will be super friendly, but still give you the directions and the instructions that you need. Some of them will be rude and condescending, and some of them will be wishy-washy. Sometimes they're nice, they're like, oh, they're cool, they were cool today. And then the next day it's like, what happened? So let me know, are you ready for bus driver boot camp? If you are a new bus driver or looking to be a bus driver?